likes up. What do you guys think about the narrative of pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all that? Do you think that the white man is still a valid excuse for holding us back? That's
No.
a yes. That's a yes or no.
No.
And then I have an actual question off that.
No.
Uncle Rick said no. Will said no. Hink.
Hell no.
Mr. Fasting, hell no.
No.
Illa.
No.
Yeah.
E Black.
Yeah.
JT. Black man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we have JT. You said no, right? Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the majority say no. We can actually have that conversation. I was slightly assumptive, but since it's majority, I can still ask the question. If we can't use the white man as an excuse for the state of our community, why can we still use women?
I'll go first.
Nah, Mr. Fantastic, you go last.
Brother.
we can look, man. If we gonna keep it like adults, if we gonna be honest about it, right? I said it before, I said it again. Man, we have our problems, right? We have our problems. We have our issues. I honestly believe in my heart that black men are working on these issues. We make more money than we ever did. We take care of our children more than we ever have, right?
More than the 60s? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But being in the household is a huge impact.
Say again?
Being in the household is a huge impact. And with the marriage rates what they were, I would have to push back, considering being with the child every day in a marriage makes a big difference. What you think? Okay.
Oh, you mean as far as proximity?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. I
Okay.
guess on that. Yeah.
But go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, I'll concede that point. That's a fact. Like I told you before, I believe life moves in cycles, right? I believe it's just the way the world works, right? And right now we're in a cycle where our women are being totally irresponsible as a whole. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? I understand the expectations that have been set, right? I just think I ain't gonna even say the majority anymore, because right now, to be honest with you, I think it's a real loud minority of women.
Okay.
A very loud minority of women.
Excuse me.
But the thing is that it's drowning out everybody, bro, and nobody ain't saying that. Nobody not taking a stand on what's right no more. And again, like I said, with our ladies, man, they the ones who raise our children, and even though we supposed to be head of the households and we supposed to lead the households, before that get weaponized, right? We still got to have a woman up under us that's willing to take on that mission, right? And understand that being in a marriage or a relationship, I believe in marriages, right? Or believe in that the marriage is a sacrifice on both parts and not just one half.
But Uncle Rick, when you say loud minority, do the numbers back that up? So as an example, right, of conduct, when we're saying that 70% of our children are born out of wedlock, we're also saying the woman is responsible for that because it's her body and she goes through the most trauma when having a child. So if we use that number, how do we then transfer to say it's a minority of women with poor conduct being the loudest? I'm not saying no stat. I'm just, you know what I'm, you see what I'm like, my logic. Go ahead.
I hear what you're saying. It's like,
and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know,
no, like it's like I just looking at it. You know what I'm saying? And I know you don't do the sum or most. You know what I mean? We can't do that, right?
Well, we can do minority, majority.
It's like, I'm just, man. To me personally, it's like. It's like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I went out to a tonight's conversation last Thursday.
Okay.
Right, in Minneapolis, man. And during the conversations, right, you can see most of the women had legit concerns.
Okay.
But the ones that was the loudest, right, the ones that was the most rowdy was the booty shaking pussy poppy ones.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
I see.
Right. When the music was playing to get the party, you had some ladies, most of the ladies was the more sitting there, nod their head and listen to the music, you know what I'm saying? Right with it, right? But in the crowd, the minority was up there pussy popping on a handstand.
Okay.
Right. And most of the questions that the ladies posed were legit questions. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones and twos, the 1 and 2 that was ratchet, everyone knew they was ratchet when they would get up there. Right.
Okay.
So like, I don't know if like right now I'm at the point thinking honestly, right, is that are we living in a false dichotomy, right? Are we seeing things because we want to see these things? Right? These are things we want to harp on, right? Instead of actually addressing the real issues and whatever that is, right? Again, the women that most men want would not have the qualities, right, in the package that they like.
Okay.
All right. So,
Will.
all right.
Yo,
So,
can I?
go ahead. Go ahead. Do your thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So again, nah, man. Rick was right on the point, Hamp, about the parent fathers being more involved than the older fathers. Because if you look at a lot of the older fathers, they had very little to any relationship with the children just because of the workload they had to do. Not to mention, the wars and the drafts and things like that, so on and so forth. So black men were there, and I'm not saying the influence wasn't as important, but the actual involvement and interaction with the children was night and day. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have kids, the fathers weren't actually involved with the kids, and more. That's why the moms were. My bad. Somebody say something?
No. Go ahead. No.
The moms were stay-at-home moms. You know what I'm saying? More likely then than now, or so on and so forth, right? So fathers now are definitely more involved. Not saying better, you know what I'm saying, or impactful, but definitely the involvement is just night and day. Larry Elder tells a very good story about this, and a lot of fathers. Denzel even made a movie about fences. Pretty much as to where a lot of sons thought their fathers hated them and despised them, just because of the life they had to live at the time. But moving on, no, the women are the problem because again, the women have been running things post civil rights movement. They made decisions that they've made. And not only do they have control over themselves, but they literally have control over the men. This is why the men are so feminized. This is why we had a major uptick in, child abuse and deletions, child deletions, all these different things. So had the black women not deleted over 20 million fetuses, we would be over 20% of the population and not surpassed by Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different things. Financial literacy. My bad. Somebody said it.
No, it's good. Let's. I mean, I think you've articulated the point. You illustrated it as well. Let's see if somebody has a different opinion. It looked like Will been trying to hold his tongue. Pause. What you think, Will?
So,
but you agreed. You said yes. Though the white man is not an excuse, right? Just to be clear,
the white man is not an excuse. No.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, but that's the point I wanted to address. One, the white man is not an excuse. Not having the forward-thinking movement of responsibility and blaming someone else shows lack of representation of yourself. If you don't have enough faith and belief in yourself and you want to blame someone else that's halting your progress, I question the position and the stature of that man. And when it comes down to the women, I understand how in certain flavors or sectors or factors, it can seem like women have the upper hand. And I understand that throughout time, it has shown that in some cases, in a minority in a minority of cases. But when it comes down to it, you have men who are pushing the boundaries and to get away from that scapegoat of, it's the women's fault, it's the white man's fault. No, have you taken that responsibility upon yourself? Blaming someone else for the inhibitions of yourself is the first step of failure.
Damn, go ahead, be black man.
And yeah, I got a little pushback on that simply because I don't think it's more of the blame. I think it's more of the blueprint. And what I mean by that is that if you go look at the blueprint, you'll see we need all these niggas in one area of the town. Mm-hmm. Everywhere you go, you drive into a neighborhood, you'll say niggas live here. Right? You know where they put them at, right? It was called redlining. You know that. Philosophical knows that, right? Redlining, right? They put you niggas are gonna be in one area and you're gonna be in the South. You come to Dallas, I'm in Dallas. You go to South Dallas is niggas. South Atlanta, well, Atlanta full of niggas, but South Atlanta is gonna be the worst niggas, right? You go to South anywhere, it's just full of niggas. right? And so we know that happened, right? And so in some cases, you don't blame anybody for that, right? You don't say, we go back and look at the early start of Planned Parenthood. You know, they went into the neighborhoods. The white woman came over, Mr. Margaret Sanger came over and told the black nurses, go in there and tell them I got an idea. They ain't got to carry that baby no more. I cut it up out of them. Guess what? Guess where they put all the first Planned Parenthoods at? They were in the hood. The first one was in Harlem. Yeah. Right? So you see what I'm saying? So you when you get set up to fail, you fail. And then over years, when you don't go, black people don't sit on no couch. And back then, grandmama didn't go to no therapist, right? So when you get that kind of pain in you, or you get that kind of mindset in you, you get up and you hear the older people say, hey, don't look at them white folks when they come on the elevator. Put your head down. Like them older, like they still got that mindset. It's because they didn't go through a process of healing and they pass it on to more generations. So I don't think it's more of them blaming or pointing fingers. I think it's more of the blueprint of how it was set out.
Well, let me give a little bit of pushback. But deprivation does not motivate you to fail. Do you need to be motivated to fail? I think that's the biggest factor when it comes down to this, because you can't motivate someone to be unintelligent or uneducated. You have to motivate someone to get educated, to be inspired, right? So even in those situations where the white woman came to the neighborhoods, even in the situations where you try to move into the white neighborhoods, so you just want to get out of hood, excuse me, you have to be at a certain level of intellect to say, you know what, I'm going to just go along with the get along program. I'm going to go where the niggas is at. I'm going to gravitate to where my people is. And when you do gravitate to where your people is, what's bound to happen? The same thing that's happened in some of the most prominent black cities all across America. But that same point cannot be made for all the black people that's living outside of America, that's living in these certain sectors. You look at Japan, you look at Germany, you look at France, you look at all of these different places. Black people don't result to themselves. I'm sorry, they don't look at their counterparts as niggas. They look at them as people. I think that's a colorism issue that's only centered for, here in America.
Let's do this. Let's get Illa in, and then Hank.
Repeat the question, bro, because I want to be right. I don't want to say nothing too. You know what I mean? I want to be off.
Well, you can do one or two things. You can comment on what the brother said, or you can answer the question flat out. But I know they kind of went back and forth, so that discourse may be ended at that juncture. I know Hank wanted to get in on that. Hank, did you want to get in on what Will said specifically? Then I can circle back and ask Illa the question fresh.
Yeah, well, both what Will said and what BMU said. So the thing about 30,
40 and then we'll get Illa. Go ahead. Okay. Hank, go ahead.
So the thing about it, it sounds like a defeatist mindset when we try to keep blaming the white man. But we'll knock down the woman. The unfortunate thing, we allow these women to have that power. So we some punk ass dudes for allowing that shit to happen. That's on us. We got to eat that wherever we want to or not. We allow them to have that power. Once they gave that power, they're not going to give it back. It's going to take bloodshed to get it back from these efforts, and they're not coming off of it. So as far as like BMU and my man said, the blueprint, we know the blueprint too. We got the blueprint. Why in 2024 we keep falling for the banana in the tailpipe bullshit? When are we going to ever learn? When are we going to learn from our past and why we got to continue to repeat the bullshit? That's my problem. I don't believe in this. Keep blaming the white man. Fuck the white man. We can't even get along on being what's pro-black and what's not. We can't get along with talking about, oh, she got a white man, oh, we can't take her serious. I got to look at her side eye. Motherfucker have to hit you with me because I'm a light-skinned man and you a dark-skinned brother. We killing our own goddamn stuff. Fuck them white boys. They sit back with their hands in there and just watch us do dumb shit. I'm done.
Now, can I respond to Hank real quick?
15 seconds. 15 seconds.
So Hank, like you said, the power, whatever. I'll be interested in hearing you more on how to do that, get that power back, and let men know that. But even last week we were talking about parenting by estoppel, which just came out, which if you don't know about it, is basically if a man dates a woman who already has children who are not his, if he does anything to financially support them, she could take him to court and get child support from that man because he invested in them financially.
Go ahead, Illa.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this. I don't know when black men, I don't know when it became like cool to just dismiss systematic systems, because it's a difference between being a victim and knowing what actually happened. I think two things can be right at once. I think people like to say the white man. I don't like to use that word because it's a low hanging fruit. It's not necessarily the white man, because the white man is just a person. We're talking about a systematic global push against people of color. That's not just something that somebody made up yesterday. Right now in the Congo, they get the chips for all these iPhones from them people in the Congo. They don't get shit from that. That ain't got nothing to do with somebody being lazy. That ain't got nothing to do with somebody not putting their bootstraps up. I think men in America, the fact that we saying, you right, to Hank, we should be some bloodshed, go to war, but I ain't about to go to war with no broad. She's only empowered by the system. The system empowers women to do what they do. The system empowers people to do what they do. It's these record labels that push the music that's talking, that make these records that's speaking negatively about black men and black women. Well, black men don't own them shits. Now they can participate. They don't have to put the music out. They don't have to sign a contract and do it. But the fact that somebody has a system with an incentive program for you to destroy your own people, that's diabolical. So the fact that we just ignore that's been going on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, is either men are just scared or men really don't really know their history. We're talking about the people who already pulled their bootstraps up before everybody even fucking got here. And it's Black Wall Street happened. I don't care how old it was. It happened. Them people, they had their own banks. They had their own libraries. They had all the things that we claim we want now. They did it without the technology, without social media, without GoFundMes and all of that. They had their own communities. They went to church. They did all the things that an upstanding citizen should do. And what did they do to those people? They just killed them. So that the fact that happened on this soil, we can't act like we never seen our people get our thing together. We have got our thing together, and it was still pushed back. Is that saying that we can't get our thing together ever? No, but to ignore a systematic assault that's going on people of color all over the world just because we got a couple athletes that made it, just because we got a couple entertainers, it just doesn't make sense. So I feel like it's a difference between blaming the white man, and it's a difference between that and understanding the systematic structure that's already made this way. I don't care what you see. People, we think the problem is once a brother get a couple dollars, once he get his job, once he get 100,000, he doesn't feel that energy anymore because he feel like he can buy his way to being accepted. But that shit don't really matter. It's about, like Martin Luther King said, it said if one man is not free, then none of us is free. So it don't matter. It's not about we need to fight the white man or nothing, but to ignore the system like this. It's what it is.
Can I rebuttal that?
Yeah, well, wait.
So
So let's do this. Let's do Hank quick rebuttal, Mr. Fantastic, and then we'll get a fresh perspective from JT and E Black. All right, go ahead, Hank.
So Ella, I agree with what you're saying, but this is what I'm saying. We know the blueprint. We know the history. We've seen it done. We've seen what Black Wall Street was. Why can't we rebuild on that? Why? Because now we feel like you said, we came along.
Let me respond. That's the good point.
Let me finish first. So why can't we know the blueprint? Why are we still going backwards? We look, as a collective, we're way farther back than we was in the 60s. Because we have so much self-hate. And I understand, I agree with you about the self-hate. But like I sit there and say, we can't get along in our own circle of people. If the men and women can't come together, we have to fight. We have to have our common enemy. And if our common enemy is supposed to be a white man, as we talk about, we can't come together even agree on that. So how are we going to overcome everything? We're not.
Can I respond quickly?
Well, Illa, do you think let's do this, Illa, real quick? No, all right, yeah, respond to him quick, and then we'll get Fantastic.
Okay, so this is another thing we got to realize. You can't gauge a person's level of what they can handle or not. 5 people could give you an example. 10 women can get raped. One of them could become a lawyer. One of them could kill themselves. Another one could become a drug addict. Another one could get married. People have different gauges of what they go through. So what we like to do is we go through something and feel like, well, I did it, so you should be able to do it. How do you prepare for something you wasn't even designed to go through in the fucking first place? So what I'm saying is, what happened to our people, it's many levels to what they did to us. We only study things from a very basic level. What they did to us was mental, spiritual, and economic. If you see your people do the right thing all the time and fail because of that, Some of us is not strong enough to go against that. If it's like if you're in class, if you're doing the right thing, if you got a child in the class who get a lot of attention for acting crazy, then eventually the other student's going to act crazy, not because it's right, because they see that seems to get the response that they want. Our people was doing the right thing for hundreds of years, for a long time. And what did they get because of that? Nothing. So that's going to retard the mind to make the mind do something outside of what's normalized, because the normal behavior that our people was exhibiting wasn't being respected and responded to in a nice way. They was being killed for doing the right thing. So you think they're going to keep doing that thing? It's going to change how they respond to actions. The human mind ain't that strong.
Well, wait a second. So, Illa, one thing I need to make sure I get clarity on is, you said some of us can't overcome. Do you think it's the minority?
Well, most of us, exactly. So most of us, because when I say overcome, I'm not saying you can't get a job, you can't get educated. I'm saying this group economic, we all one on the same page. It's too much COINTELPRO, too much things have been done to our community to create mistrust within ourselves and everybody. Okay. Our greatest leaders was murdered in front of all of us. That happened. That's going to change how people
All right, that's okay. We understand it. Go ahead, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, brother. Everything you're talking about is at least as old as we are. Okay, COINTELPRO is like 40 years old, man. Again, like Hink said, Hink stole most of my thunder. It's the same play. You can't use the excuse of, oh, it's the white man and this, when the playbook is not changed. And even most importantly, you have the women that are willingly fucking still the only people still using it. Okay. No, it's not the white man's fault. And then just to checkmate it, bro. Japan had two atomic bombs dropped on them, okay? And now Japan, less than 100 years later, is one of the most best economies. Well, at one point, I guess say best economies right now, they have a different time, but one of the most technological and one of the best world societies to live in, brother. You can't use that excuse, bro. People. I
never said the white man. I said the system. That's one. For two,
even still, this brother. There's no system. Hold on, brother. There's literally no system worse than your whole country being obliterated, like to dust. Bro, there's no system worse than that, brother.
The country got obliterated. Japan was hit in Japan. It was hit by another country in their home. We were attacked in our own home by our own home. That's two different scenarios.
Brother, you were not. We were not.
You live home.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. And
did Japan bomb themselves or did America bomb them?
That's irrelevant. The point of the matter is this. No, it is. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Whether it's friendly fire, or whether it's from the opposition, brother. If you lose people, you lose people.
This is what I mean. Perfect sense. Hold on, really quick. This is what I mean by hold on. This is what I mean by you don't have to be This is what I mean by you don't have to be motivated to fail. Just because everyone else around you is expressing themselves or exerting themselves in a chaotic way does not mean that you have to. You have to be illogically efficient within yourself and not have a faith and a belief in yourself to go along with the get along program. I don't want to name content creators' names, but there's plenty of examples of men, and I'm just talking about the men. There's plenty of examples of men who has and still to this day express themselves in a way that is so illogical, but people love to listen to it because it's exciting. We love to gravitate to things that are chaotic. But when it comes down to a brother actually be like, you know what? I don't want to have to follow this program. I don't want to be along with I'm going through it because the system. I understand that the system was designed in a way for a black man to fail. But does that mean you have to fail? No. You just have to be willing to put in that work. You can't stay behind and starve off the table just because it wasn't made for you. Right, Bring your own food. We were talking about
real quick. Let me reset the tech because I'm trying to give you an opportunity to I don't want to have to keep saying stop.
Hamp, I got to step away for a second.
All right, do your thing. Well, no, hear this though. Hear this because you long-winded as hell too. Let's try to keep the points concise so we can get everybody in. I don't want to have to be like boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So
I got to step away, G.
Oh yeah, do your thing. I just wanted you to hear that last part. So Illa, go ahead and give your rebuttal, and then I want to again. Okay, and then JT and E Black are going next. I know Mr. Fantastic is gonna want to respond. We can open it back up once they give a perspective. Because I also think E Black may align with Illa to an extent, so his commentary may also help the conversation in a way as well. Go ahead, Illa.
All I'm saying,
And we out.